Harry Smith, The Celebration of Life. Good afternoon everyone, my name is Emer and I am the registered celebrant. Today we are here to celebrate the life of Harry Smith and to share the special moments we will forever cherish of him. It is my honour to be able to be here today to provide the ceremony with all Harry's dear family and friends from over the years. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you all to please ensure to turn your phones to silent mode so they don't interrupt the ceremony. And of course, if you can, try to limit your use of them. That way there will be no interruptions through today's memoirs and the family know you are present with them in the moment. I'm proud to introduce the beautiful voice of Harry's daughter Tempest, singing Eva Cassidy's Songbird. If you could all be upstanding as the ceremony is to begin. We are gathered here today to celebrate the life of Harry James Smith, born August 10, 1963. Brought into the world by Mother Elizabeth and Father Leo. Harry was raised to be a gentleman, and we know today as with his siblings, Maura, Anne, Lena, Breda, Kathleen and brothers William, Jim, Sean, Thomas, Leo and Michael. Harry's beautiful wife and best friend in life, Marion, who was the mother to their daughter Tempest and 3 sons, Adrian, Christian and Eric, and also his biggest fan in life. The Smith children welcome you to celebrate his life today and for refreshments afterwards in the hotel across the road. The eulogy. In the words of Harry's favourite hero, John Wayne, a man's got to have a code, a creed to live by, no matter his job. Harry was a man who had a clear sense of right and wrong. He was consistent in what he believed. In his life and in his work, Harry lived the core values that are complete army sergeant character, honour, courage and commitment. Perhaps it was also his proud Scottish heritage shining through, an ancient lineage of great warriors singing through his bloodlines. All is good. As all good warriors are, Harry was strong and gentle. He gave his all to care for his family. Tempest says, "He spoiled me rotten," and his concern extended to those outside of the family as well, always willing to help others in any way he could, almost to a fault. He would talk to everybody and everybody would talk to him, even if he didn't want them to. He was the kind of guy who, standing in the supermarket line, the person next to him would tell him their whole life story. His mother-in-law, Mary, whom he affectionately called Maud, says he was the best son-in-law and they had a wonderful relationship. She also remembers how mischievous he was. He used to purposely annoy her by using her expensive glass coasters as an ashtray. For Harry, punctuality was number 1. His co-worker and friend Dennis remembers how Harry endeared himself to his co-workers because he would arrive at work an hour to an hour and a half early every morning. He changed into his uniform, he would make his pot of coffee and relieve the worker who was on duty. If Harry was ever late for anything, he would be in a bad mood all day. Dennis remembers the time fellow co-worker Joe served Harry a cup. Harry took a sip and tasted cinnamon in it. He was so upset. He just could not believe anyone would put cinnamon in coffee. The guys would never let him live that one down. Harry, born January 28, 1957 to Ralph and Joanne Smith. Harry grew up on a farm in Gasson in Queensland, a very small town where he also attended a 2-room schoolhouse. In his youth he learned how to work hard and demonstrated self-discipline by raising horses all on his own, working jobs and bartering to get them. His love of coffee began at age 12 after he'd do his morning chores on the farm. He'd come into the house and his mother would give him a cup. On the farm there were so many tasks that just had to be done, where there was no questions asked. Being a farmer, Harry loved John Deere tractors, the Mercedes of tractors, he would always say. Harry played rugby union in the Gatton High School. and after graduating in 1968, he worked at GM for a little while, a job he hated. He then joined the army against his dad's wishes. He served one tour of duty and then he returned. The job market wasn't great. It was August 1974 and he went to the army recruitment office to re-enlist. It just so happens that Marion was there enlisting herself, and afterwards they both walked to the bus station. He started talking to Marion. She was very wary of him. Being that they were in Brisbane, she found out that they were taking the same bus route home, and they chatted the whole way. Their courtship continued, and in February of 1975, Harry proposed while on leave. They were married that September. Their first married year together, they lived in Townsville, where he was stationed for a while in Cairns. Harry fell in love with Cairns, where he enjoyed fishing with his buddies. It became his dream to live there permanently one day and work in the police force. In 1976, Harry and Marion moved back to Brisbane. Marion became pregnant with Tempest and Harry took a job as a prison coordinator in the Brisbane Correctional Centre. At that point, he didn't necessarily